how it ended. When you see a game like that, or any of the close games you guys have lost, are you seeing a team that's close to winning, or are you seeing a team that has a lot to clean up?
Both. Both. I think, you can see guys taking the next step. JK taking the next step. Moses taking the next step. JP taking the next step. And then you just see they're young. And so closing is something that comes with experience. And, we all know Clay mishap there at the end of the game. Not going to dwell on it. As wrong as Clay was, there were several plays in the last minute or so that you make one of those plays and you win the game. And so I think it's just more so understanding how important every possession is, and that's when you hear people say, "Oh man, this guy is young and need more time to grow." One of the biggest things guys have to understand is just the importance of every possession and how one possession affects the next possession. We can look at all of those plays down the stretch and say, man, this is why we lost the game. But the fact is this, losing the game is an accumulation of a bunch of bad plays. It's not just the the magnifying one that you kind of look at and say, oh man, it's this one. Like, yes, those mistakes down the stretch would have saved the game. But keyword saved the game. It's not necessarily won the game for us. And so there's some lessons in it that we can learn, and I think guys will learn them. But, like I said, I think it's a mixture of got a lot of stuff to clean up and a lot of stuff to learn, and yet a team that's right there knocking on the door, breaking through.
Dante said that you spoke with a team today before practice, after practice, or something. What was that sort of the message you had for them, or what were you hoping to get across?
No, I didn't speak much. I was just kind of going over some just some concepts that we can grasp. It wasn't like some speech or like, hey man, you got to do this. No, it wasn't that. It was just some concepts that defensively, I think we can grasp, and if we grasp them, it'll help our defense tremendously. It's also some little things that our younger guys can pick up on that makes your life a lot easier on the defensive side of the ball. So I think it was more so, honestly, for JK. It's just starting to see things. I was just telling him, like, his ability, just sheer ability, is starting to really show up on the defensive end. Now, if you can add those little nuances, just little tricks to the trade, then you really take that next step. Then you go from being, you're becoming a good defender, and you can become a great defender if you add those little things to the game, little subtleties. And it's my job to teach him that. It's not Coach Kerr's job to teach him that. It's not AV's job, who does a lot of work with him, to teach him that. It's my job to teach. Bogut taught me those things, So, that falls on me. And so I think it was just more so for him and things that everyone else can pick up on. But my focus was him, because if he can pick those things up, it's coming together for him.
What do you think of that stop that he had in Utah against Jordan Clarkson? I feel like it kind of got lost in the shuffle of the scuffle and then just the last 13 seconds.
Huge stop. Huge stop. But that stop is a byproduct of the way he's been defending the last week and a half, 2 weeks. Then you get that stop, because that stop is confidence. Like that stop wasn't technique based. You let the guy get middle. You don't want to give up a middle drive. So it wasn't technique based. That stop was confidence. That stop was, I'm just going to do what I got to do to stop you. And that happens all the time, where you have to do that. It's the NBA. Guys going to get middle at times. You want to stop it as much as you can. But that was confidence. That was feeling good about himself. That was short will. And, it definitely got lost. You win that game, and everybody's talking about that one stop, because then it got, Jordan Clarkson got kicked out the game. That's a big moment in the game. So you win that game, and it's a totally different feeling and sense around that stop. And so It was good to see. But I think, like I said, that it was a byproduct of all the focus and effort that he's been putting in on that side to get himself back in the rotation. I love it. It's so beautiful to see. I had to get on the basketball court in the NBA by playing defense, and he's doing that. And so for me, it's very, very fun to watch.
Andrew last season was an all-star. He was great in the playoffs, but especially in the NBA Finals as a two-way player, really as a rebounder too. Do you think that showed kind of the outside world what he can be in the short term and how important he is for you guys in the long term as well?
100%. I think, you really just saw him really affect the game in so many different ways. He's always affected the game offensively, whether it was here in Minnesota. But to see him affect the game defensively like he did, to see him affect the game with the offensive rebounding and defensive rebounding the way he did, it definitely showed what everyone has thought he could become. And, he's put that work in and built that confidence to become that and, committed himself to the process of doing that. And it was huge. And now he's looked at as a totally different player. He's an all-star, probably will be an all-star again. And it just as much as it is for a lesson for him, it's a lesson for younger guys. Like, you want to score the ball so much, and it's great. Yeah, Wiggins was averaging 20 points, and everybody was calling him a bust. And then you start playing some defense, and then you start – always been capable of defending, by the way. But then, you make it a point to be a really, really good defender, and then, you start rebounding the basketball, and you're affecting winning, and then all of a sudden you're an all-star. So I think it's – as good as it is for him, it's more of a lesson to younger guys. Like, you got to affect the game in different ways.
Dre, you guys are about to go on a 6-game road trip. Over the years, have you developed, a specific routine to keep you sharp when you're on the road that long?
Yeah, you try to, get your work in where you can. But I think at this point you also understand your body, understand what you need, what you don't need, when you need to rest, when you need to turn it up a notch, take a day off, or we have a day off and you go in on that off day. Like, you just start to figure it out and kind of get in a groove, and just understanding what your body needs. So this will be a tough trip for us. 6-game East Coast trip is never easy for anybody. So it'll be a tough trip, but I think it's good for us.
Before the trip, you guys are hosting the Celtics on Saturday. Obviously a finals rematch, but what have you seen from Boston so far this season?
They look incredible. They're playing well. They're playing together. Both sides of the ball, they're playing very good offensively. Not as good defensively as they played down the stretch last year, but good enough defensively to where you know how serious that defense is. Game 26, who's playing playoff defense, right? But they're playing good enough defense to where you know their defense is really good and how serious, how they can turn it up on that side of the ball. So, they're playing really well. I think their win the other night was a statement win. They're responding how you expect a young team to respond to a finals loss, and it just says a lot about their character, says a lot about the guys' will to win and will to be great. You either get motivated by losing an NBA championship, or you go to or playoff series, conference finals. You get motivated by it, or you go down the tube. They're obviously motivated by it, and they're playing well. JT's doing a great job leading the bunch. Jaylen Brown has taken another step this year. It's like he gets better each and every year, which is impressive. It just says a lot about his work ethic. So, and then I think Adam Brogdon, has really helped them a ton. So they're playing good basketball, and they'll be tough to beat tomorrow, but it is what it is.
Dre, from a team perspective, when there are questionable things that happen off the court, kind of what Anthony's dealing with right now, how much of that seeps into the locker room, and how at all do you guys, handle those things internally?
It doesn't seep much. You show support for guys when they need support as you're in this thing together, and yet you try to find that balance of staying out of people's business. I think we live in a world where everybody want to know your business and want to be all up in what you got going on, and it's enough of that. And so you let a guy know, hey, I'm here for you, but yet try to find that balance and give guys enough space to where I'm sure it's enough coming from a bunch of different angles, and you can get overwhelmed. So show some support. Let a guy know you're there if you need it, but then give a guy space and let them work through their things and, deal with however they may feel like they can deal with it, as long as you open yourself up to, hey, man, I'm here if you need, just talk. If you need anything, if you need help with something, you're willing just to stand and be with the guys that you go to war with every single day. But it's tough, and I think we all deal with stuff outside of here. We're all human beings. You leave here and you got a life to live. And before you walk in here, you've been living a life. And so things come with that. But you just want to see a guy get past things that's in their past, and yet understand that there is another side to it. It's not quite my business to get into that other side. Who I know in the situation is Anthony, and you don't really have a bunch of details, and it's not really up to me to go find those details. But as a teammate, guys going through tough times, you be there for them, and like I said, but yet give them the space that they need as well.
Going back to the Celtics and what you said about they've clearly taken the loss in the finals and put it towards building momentum, playing extremely well. But you said there's another way to go about it. Teams can also kind of falter. What, in your experience, what have you seen as the difference between, how you take it to build on it versus
character?
Letting it?
Character is everything. You don't have high character guys. You don't win at high levels. You may be talented, but if the character is not there, the will to win is not there, it never works. You may think it's going to work. It may look like it may possibly work. It'll keep looking like it's possibly going to work. So I think it is the character. And you look at those guys over there, they have high character guys. JT is a high character guy. Jaylen Brown's a high character guy. Marcus Smart's a high character guy. Al Horford's a high character guy. Malcolm Brogdon's a high character guy. Blake Griffin's a high character guy. Grant Williams is a high character. They have high character guys. And so you'd expect them to respond the way that they have responded. But I think that's everything. You see teams every year that got talent and don't quite have that character, and they don't quite win.
Two questions. One, how was the ceremony last night?
It was incredible. For me, I was sitting there at that table in tears, man, just like at a random moment, because I took my son with me, and it was so special for me to sit there and listen to those stories and know and understand how impactful that night last night is going to be on his life, and just having the opportunity to sit there and listen to how hard it is not to make it in sports. That's just their journey. And that's what last night was about. It's about the journey to get to that stage. But you can apply that in your life. I can apply that in my life. He'll be able to apply that in his life and across the board. And so for me to sit there and witness my brother get sports person of the year was incredible, well-deserved, long overdue. To share that moment with my 5, soon-to-be 6-year-old son and always speaking to him and about being great and how to chase greatness and the process. as you know, we don't. Our parents can tell us a lot. As a child of my mother and father, your parents can tell you a lot, and you just don't quite hear it all the time, as if they don't know and haven't been through it. And so I understand I'll get some of that. But for him to sit there and listen, and then for Steph to say to him, DJ, it means so much to me for you to be here tonight, and him to go home and say, Steph said it meant so much for me to be there with him tonight. Those are moments that I can't buy those moments for him. You can't put a price tag on. So it was a special, special night for me for that reason. And then, like I said, most importantly, to see Steph get what he deserves. And like he said last night, that's not a award that you expect to get. Like, you don't go this year striving. Like, I can't go in this season like, by the way, I'm going for Sports Person of the Year for sports. Like, it just don't work like that, you know? And so that's not something that, like, okay, that may be a goal of yours one day. Like, one day I want to do that. But, like, there's no roadmap to that. Like, and so to just have the opportunity to witness him receive that and how he took it all in and accepted that moment with everyone who was there and also the other award winners. It was special. It was special. I keep, as I get older, man, I'm getting more emotional. I be crying and shit about a lot of stuff. I did not know that, by the way. I found out last night. I was doing an interview on the red carpet, and I was talking about it being long overdue for Steph, and they was like, yeah, well, now he's a two-time. And I'm like, whoa, I totally missed that. And then I found out it was the team, and I completely missed that. So, because, you know, I would have celebrated like it was my award, like Steph got it last night. So it's pretty dope to know, though. Now if somebody could give me a plaque or something so I can hang it on my wall and act like it was all me, it'd be great. They give me a replica of that trophy or something, I could put it in my man cave and tell my son, DJ, you were really young, but I got this award too. It'd be incredible.
The other question I have is less relevant in the grand scheme of things, but when you go back to what you guys lost in 2016 in the finals, what was your mentality coming into camp that year after that loss? I know you guys bring in a new team, KD, and the other guys showing up, but what was the mentality like with that in the background?
To go make it right, to go redeem yourself, to never feel that feeling again. It was such an awful feeling to go all that far and then lose. Now, we went through it again, obviously, but the goal was to never feel that again, you know, and it was motivation, you know, understanding the things that went wrong to put us in that position and trying not to make those mistakes twice. You know, it was so much added fuel. Like, hey, man, we have, like, it's right there for us. Did we not see it? It's right there. Can we now do what we need to do to go get it? And it really lights a fire, like I said. Or if you don't got character, it dims really fast. But I think we're a pretty high character team, and it really, really drove us. And then obviously KD coming in, you want to prove that works. You know, you want to not only prove to the world that works, but kind of validate to him that he made the right and good decision, you know? So there's a lot of factors going into that 2017 year for us.
Cool. Thank you. Appreciate that.